If you have ever wondered what the end of Anguilla looks like, wonder no more. Here it is. I want to thank you for joining me, Avenella Griffith, again on one of the lives that I'm doing, 7 of them, throughout the rest of 2024. We are where Anguilla ends in District 7. And so I want to thank you again for joining me this afternoon on your Sunday evening. Today, our live will continue to showcase a treasure in one of our 7 districts. And it was difficult, but not too difficult, choosing a spot in District 7, because this is a spot that I know people think about, but hardly ever get here. And so I want to showcase it to you a little bit, as much as I possibly can with a camera. It is a beautiful spot. The locals around here call it Snake Point. There's a nice, lovely beach there, and of course, it's going to grow and diminish with the various tides and the various seasons, but definitely a fantastic fishing spot. I hope I'm not giving away anybody's secrets. Today, right behind me, there is a channel. If you're brave enough to come through, you just got to know what you're doing. Some persons call it Anguillita channel. So therefore, of course, the key that's directly behind me is called, directly to the west of me, is called Anguillita. Yes, little Anguilla, if you want to call it that. So thank you for joining me. It's a beautiful spot to come, to relax, to chill out. Lots of nice rocks on the southern side of this. And of course, we have St. Martin, we have Sabre, we have the beautiful sunset. And so today we want to give God thanks for what he has done for us and for bringing us to the end of this year, 2024. Today, I just want to share with you a little bit about Avenella for Anguilla's platform, given that we are at the end of the physical land of Anguilla. What is our end destination as a country? Not our physical land, but us as a nation, us as a people. What is our end that we hope for in 50 years? What is the end that we hope for in 100 years? What is the end that we are planning for in 200 years? We are currently leaving it up to every party to do something in 5-year intervals. And I believe that our experience and our history has taught us that that's not been working out well, especially if we want to leave something that's worth having to our generations to come. What do we do now? What do we do now to ensure that we have something to bequeath in 50, 100 years that's worth living on Anguilla for, that's worth loving, continuing to love this country for? And so I'm encouraging us from the Avenella for Anguilla's political platform to look at these 5 things that would help to keep our tranquility over the next couple of hundred years. 1, tranquil taxes. That is Anguillian. God has been good to us. He's been providing for us 40 years ago. Now he's giving us another something out of our national cupboard. We have an opportunity to keep our taxes tranquil because we are people who work hard. We are people who don't need to be given fish. We're a people who just want to learn how to fish. And so we don't need all the handouts. We need low taxes, which will give us the motivation and drive to go forward. Secondly, tranquil teaching. A teacher enrichment movement is needed in Anguilla. the bedrock of our society after our family and after our church is our teachers. Our teachers need enriching. Our system needs enriching. That overall tranquility needs to remain in our teaching environment for students, yes, but also for teachers. And I think that it's time that the spotlight is shone on these people that we so revered, that all of us loved and none of us wanted to be during the COVID lockdown. Thirdly, tranquil tourism. The the covert way of trying to get jet skis into our brand. The sneaky way of trying to get casinos into our tourism brand. And then this push for excess cruise tourism. We have to ask ourselves, when countries like Spain and so many others are beginning to totally ban cruise ships, there must be a reason. There must be a reason. And so we want to continue to hand our children down something that is tangible. But the radical change that's now won't just stay a radical change now. Within a couple of years, if we're not careful, that will just mushroom into something that we will totally regret. Fourthly, there is tranquil transportation. Our transportation needs to be looked at. We have Asian countries flooding our streets with cars. We have companies from neighboring islands wanting to flood our streets with cars. They are looking for virgin territory because they saturated their market. They saturated their roads. They're not concerned about Anguilla's movement, about us moving around from the east end, from the tip of the island harbor to the tip of us. And they're not concerned about that. They're not concerned about us, Anguilla. These vehicle companies are concerned about one thing: maximizing profits. And so today, I'm encouraging us, let's take a look at our traffic. Let's take a look at our ferry system, something that we treasure. Boating is in our blood. And if we can build that up to be something that is truly beyond extraordinary to us first and then to others, that is what we want to do. We want to boost our local entities, our local businesses. We want to boost our local infrastructure. We have the complements of good, big 5-star hotels. Now we need to solidify our local accommodations. We need to embark on making sure that coming to Anguilla is an adventure by sea. When you arrive at the ferry, it is something awesome that all of us are just excited to do, because our local ferry boat owners, our local entrepreneurs can profit so much through that, then even so much for the billionaire airline companies that are going to recall the money, because we're going to have to pay them in order for them to come here as well. And so we have to, at this time, look at our transportation. We never thought that we would ever say that St. Martin's traffic could get worse, but we hear St. Martiners saying every year it's getting worse. And so we need, when our neighbor's house is on fire, to put water on ours. Fifthly, tranquil technology. Tranquil technology, and I want to speak to that a lot today. Our .ai domain name is a gift in our national cupboard that God has given unto us. And I was reading and listening to the news a lot last week, and one story kept popping up from different sources. This one story was the fact that the lottery jackpot in the US had amounted to $1.22 billion US dollars. And so lots of financial advisors were giving interviews and news stories about what their top tips are and advice for any person in the event that they would win such an amount of money. And every news article that I read, or every interview that I listened to, they had this one piece of ice as their top tip, all of them, no matter what news agency they were from. And this is the advice that they gave if you were to win that 1.22 billion. And I think a lottery ticket was sold for that amount in California. Their advice is, if you're lucky enough to win this lottery, do this one thing: keep calm, get organized, and make a plan. Keep calm, get organized, and make a plan. I do not consider that AI as a lottery. I see a lot of news articles calling it that, and I hear a lot of people calling it that. That AI was gifted to us by God. He looked out for us in 67, and even before that, He looked out for us in 83 when He guided us into high-end tourism. And as people have prayed and as we have lived by his standards and His principles, pretty much over the course of those years, I believe that He just opened up that AI onto us. However, we have a problem. We, the people who God has given this .ai domain name to, as a lucrative source of revenue for us as a country that would negate heavy taxes. We do not know how much money it is, how much revenue we are getting. For all the past years, a local, Vince Kate, he has been managing the .ai domain. I mean, the transparency he has given to us as a people and to the government was beyond transparent. Last couple of months, our government decided to hand that management over to a non-local company. After the contract was signed, a reporter in one of the press conferences, the government press conferences, a reporter asked the Honorable Minister Gums Marie how much money would the island be receiving at the end of the contract, the 5-year contract with Identity General. The minister replied that she does not recall, I didn't remember at the time, but however, she would get that figure for the next press conference. When the next press conference rolled around, more than likely about 2 weeks after, the reporter asked the minister again for the figure. How much money at the end of the 5-year contract that Identity Digital will hold this coming year, how much money are Anguillians expected to receive? Because we've always known that figure from Vince Kate. And that's what this government specifically promised: absolute transparency. And when the reporter asked her and waited for the answer, the minister said she did not remember to check. Now we are hearing that the Premier has said that a non-disclosure agreement, short an NDA, was signed. And so therefore the details of the contract, meaning how much money we, the owners of the .ai domain name, we cannot know how much money revenue will be coming into our island from our property, a gift that God has given to us. Let's just take that in for a little bit of seconds. So we own something, it's bringing in money, and we can't be told how much money is coming in. Is it that we're going to be flooded with surprises from this money? Is it that this money is going to go missing? Well, nobody's going to know if it's going to go missing because it's in an undisclosed agreement. This should not sit well with us, Anguilla. This is more than a shame. I am appalled that any government would do us this, but even so, even more so, a government that promised that something like this would never be on their watch. But again, the lies told that they would never do GST, and they listed all the things that would happen if GST came in, if the other government would have brought in GST, and everything that they said that the other government, that would happen under the other government if they were voted in, everything has happened under this government. Particularly, many small businesses are suffering under the heavy tax. But we were also told that everything that they would do would be transparent. Everything that they would do, they would show it to the public. And again, we are seeing that that is also an untruth. Today, Anguilla, our technology has to be tranquil. Those 5 tranquilities I began saying even before so many of them were at the top of our news feed. Even before that air was as big as it is now. But the truth coming out from years of being kept, as Mr. Linwood Bell would say, as Anguilla's potash, its moment to shine is here. And our current government is saying to us, the people who are their bosses, they are saying, no, take $500 when we give it to you for your electricity, take another $500 when we give it to you for your electricity, and besides, the government owns the electrical companies, so the money is going to come back to government in some form or fashion, whether it be dividends or somehow. So government is not losing anything there. And then double pay, take the double pay. And that is supposed to help to compensate for all the things that were done wrong. It's supposed to pull wool over your eyes so that a vote can be gained in the upcoming elections. That AI revenue belongs to the people of Anguilla. We, the people of Anguilla, should know how much money we are signed up to make in the next 5 years with the contract with Identity Digital. And so today, from the end of Anguilla, from the last tip of Anguilla, I come to you to say that we Anguillians, we need a vision, we need a mission, and we have our motto. These things are going to help us to keep our governments accountable, because right now, they are making sure that they are unaccountable to us, their bosses, the ones who are in charge. And I think it is time for us to let them know that we, the people of Anguilla, own the .ai domain. And we are in charge of the government because you are placed there by the people of Anguilla to do what the people of Anguilla desire. And there is absolutely a need for that figure to be given to the people of Anguilla. The amount of money that's locked up in the liquidity in our financial statements is the temptation for risky investments, for risky spending, instead of the long-term planning and the long-term movement of the money into specific and special reserves, which will strengthen our solvency. What we need to do at this time is to save this money, this influx, what people are calling a lottery, save it, plan, keep calm, organize, plan. Not just the government, but us as a country, as a people getting together, we plan, save and plan and build. This is advice, my admonition, and something that I would be pushing and saying a lot because it's pure wisdom. And I don't want us to get into the next 7 years and then the next 14 years. And then we say, I wish her, I could her, we should have. We should have listened to her. We could have listened. No. Let's be wise, Anguilla. We have an opportunity that's before us to do an amazing set of work in this land together. If we save, if we plan, and if we build. So from District 7, at the tip of West End, the sunset is absolutely gorgeous. I want to thank you for joining me, staying with me on the 6th presentation from the 7th district. We have one more district to go. This is again to showcase some of our treasures here on this beautiful island, encouraging you to get out. It's also to invite you into the Avenella for Anguilla platform so that you can hear what I'm standing for and what I'm committed to fight for and to push for in the next upcoming general election. As an island-wide independent candidate, I do ask that you consider continuing to listen to me, consider continuing to support me, consider continuing to give into this campaign, because I am all about cherishing, preserving, and advancing Anguillaness. Thank you, and saying goodbye from Snake Point, here at the tip of West End in District 7. Enjoy the sunset.